Last week, Coach Dan Van Ruler hosted a dinner at his house for his high school soccer team. While the smell of burgers wafted from inside, the boys were all in the driveway, where a player named Freddie was letting his teammates ride his motorcycle.
Freddie, he had the bike, and everyone just tried to ride it and stuff. It was cool because it was a real nice electric bike. So
that's Isaiah Else. He's a forward on the team. Else had trouble riding the bike because Freddie doesn't speak much English.
And no one understood how to ride it but him, so it was interesting to try and figure it out because it was hard to understand what he was saying. So it was you're kind of just winging it.
But the players were used to language barriers. Teammates mostly speak Spanish on the field, as most of the players immigrated from Latin America. But the coaches and a large portion of the team speak only English. For Coach Van Ruler, it isn't much of an issue.
I've never coached a game where I thought, man, if we could only communicate this better, then we could do it. Some of the times it's guys maybe not agreeing with what we're asking of them and wanting to do it their own way. That's probably the bigger problem.
And Van Ruler seems to have found team players this season. The Warriors gave up less than a goal a game on the way to a 12-2 record. Josh Perez, a speedy winger, was one of the team's starters. Since moving from Central Mexico 3 years ago, Perez has worked hard on and off the field.
I have a job too, so I go to school, I do practice, and then I go to work.
After practice, Perez often finds himself in a large warehouse surrounded by plastic and steel.
I work at Link Manufacturing. They do suspensions and for big trucks or trailers, and what I do is assembly.
Perez isn't the only player on the team who juggles work along with school and soccer. Here's Coach Van Ruler.
But yeah, a lot of our kids work weekends throughout the summer. Work is probably something that holds a lot of our guys back because, they really need to support their families.
Most of Perez's family is back in Mexico. He lives with his uncle. But when he got to Northwest Iowa, he found a community that already knew quite a bit about him.
I just came here and they're like, I know your dad, I know your mom, and then they're like, oh, my brother is this one. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know him in Mexico, but I didn't know you. And they're like, oh yeah, because I have been here 20 years.
Soccer is a needed outlet for kids who bring a lot of baggage with them to the pitch. After a poor performance in a game this season, Coach Van Ruler and his staff tried to dial up the intensity at practice. A player named Allen got frustrated with the coach's pressure and walked off the field towards his car.
His response, as we just sat and talked by his car for a little bit, he's like, I come here because I love it. This is fun. This is what I enjoy. This is a break from life. I can forget about my problems and just come and have fun. And that was just an awesome perspective to hear.
When guys are already working and navigating life in a new country, succeeding in school while learning in a second or third language can be extremely difficult for players. Their teammates' families have stepped in where they can to meet this need.
Zeke Foltz was a coach for us this year. He's a graduate. So his family opened up their home to Romario. He lived with them for a few years. Helped each other with their homework, helped Romario graduate.
The immigrant players' experiences at Sioux Center have not been without racial and ethnic tension. Perez recounts one ugly encounter.
So we have a game that was away, and we start playing, and I was having the ball, and his keeper just grabbed me, and it was like football. He just grabbed me, take me down, and then when we just shake hands, he said a racist comment to one of my friends. He says, "Go to your country."
Isaiah Else, who was adopted from Ethiopia, has experienced racist comments too.
I hear the N-word all the time from other people. So it's
including in a game against the same team that roughed up Perez. In the playoffs this year, Else saw an opposing player picking on a Sioux City defender named Oscar.
I think I heard something from the forward, so then I came in and just shoved him, and then I don't know if it was racist, but I thought it was, so then I just came in and I was like, I don't like that when it's happening to my other teammates.
These are two players who speak different languages and have wildly different backgrounds. But on the field, they stick up for one another. This is the beauty of a soccer team, says Coach Van Ruler.
When you're doing sprints with somebody, it doesn't matter where they're from. Nothing else matters besides collectively working towards that common goal.
But Van Ruler's favorite part of coaching?
Graduation. It's pretty cool.
He likes seeing kids move forward from the team.
To see kids that come to our country with no English very little education, graduate from high school and have opportunities to either get a really good job that wouldn't have been there before, or go on to, go to a Dort or a Northwestern. That's really awesome.
Van Ruler is retiring, but he's getting to see this process play out one last time. Josh Perez graduated in May, and he'll be attending Dort University in the fall, where he received a scholarship to play soccer. Reporting for World, I'm Jack Kubinec in Sioux Center, Iowa.